All right, seventh garden tour of 2022. We're gonna start here with the blueberry plants, and I definitely plan to get a second one of this. I have moved one over there, so they'll be kind of framing the deck, get a little bit more shade over there, and hopefully it'll survive, because this previous one was more in the sun and it just did not do well. So we're gonna get the same type and try more shade and see how it does. This is a Mexican oregano that I just got last week at the plant sale from the Botanical Garden. Also got this fig tree here, which I'm hoping to get into a pot like later today. And so I'm thinking the fig tree will sit there and kind of help frame and then shade the deck a little bit. That's the current thought. And then if I have it in a pot, I can always move it. It'll be very heavy, but I could move it if I wanted to. All right, let's go over here to these guys, which I feel like I normally forget. And so we have a pineapple right here, which I put it in a kind of small pot right now for this first year. And then next year I plan to put it in a bigger pot. I just got to get it to survive through the winter. And then we have a Scotch bonnet here. We have a Peruvian, which I think I saw maybe one pepper. Yeah, there's one pepper on it. And then we have a bell pepper here, which has a cute little pepper right down there. And then another Scotch bonnet. I think this one's a chocolate Scotch bonnet here. All right, let's go over into bed one. All right, bed one, Salvia is doing great. Looks really happy, so glad that I put it in there for the pollinators. And then this is the pumpkin spice jalapeno, just in time for Halloween. Look at how big these peppers are getting. This is very exciting because there's a bunch of them on here, and they're just very long. And then behind it is a serrano, and we have like a pepper there. There are a few peppers on here on this serrano. And what I'm gonna do, as we keep going, you'll see there's a lot of peppers that I basically left for making this tour. And then I'm gonna harvest everything, probably except for these guys, because these guys are supposed to turn orange and fit the pumpkin spice. So I'm gonna leave them, let them turn orange, but pretty much harvest everything else because there's a lot of like ripe peppers ready to go. And then we're gonna get some rain tomorrow, which is bringing in a cool front, and pretty cool later on in the week. So I want to get most of everything in before that happens. And then here we have an eggplant, which I think I'm just gonna end up digging it up once we do get cold and trying to overwinter it for next year. And then we have some calendula right there and right there that I planted. I also planted some cosmos, but they disappeared. So there's a calendula. The garbanzo or chickpeas, it's not doing great. I actually didn't know when I planted them that they kind of vine like that, but I will definitely be trying it again next year. Then we're gonna come around. Right here in the front, you can see the cherry peppers, which are doing really well. Got the red ones, we got greens, like they're all doing awesome. You can see my arch nemesis, the roly-polies, and they're here on a Scotch bonnet. Like, look at them. Look at that roly-poly. It's determined to destroy my garden. So this is the Scotch bonnet, which really perked up in like the last few weeks. But I don't think we're gonna have enough time for it. So this one might also, I'm basically just gonna try and overwinter like any pepper I can because they take so long. So I'm gonna try and get a head start. And then behind it is the chocolate Scotch bonnet back there. All right. And of course, lots of mint because mint took over the bed. And then going into bed two, we have the beans I tried to grow on the trellis. Got a couple beans, but really they're just dry. So I need to just take them as, you know, dried beans and cook them that way rather than having anything fresh. But this was probably the biggest one, which got pretty big, so that was exciting. I'm definitely going to try it again next year. I don't know if it was the timing of the year or the watering or what, but like in theory it's supposed to just take over the whole trellis, which is what is happening. Like back there, that one's doing pretty good now, starting to climb, and I planted that much later, so I wonder if I just planted this one too early. So we'll give that a shot. All right, and so this pepper here is the bubblegum, I called it. So bubblegum pepper there. I thought this was a Scotch bonnet, and then once I saw the peppers forming, I'm like, definitely not. And then we have our strawberries hidden under there with nothing really happening right now. And then this one is probably my favorite, the Peruvian pepper, because I mean, just look at how well it did. Look at all those peppers. It's just done fantastic. I should say, I don't know, there's some competition, because look at the Peruvian pepper and then look at the shishito pepper. Like the shishito's also done amazing. So I'm pretty happy with this corner, this bed. This bed is definitely the best bed I have going. Oh look, something ate into one of the peppers. Huh. Also in this bed we have the mini bell peppers right there, turned orange. And then we have some Scotch bonnets under here too. There are two there, one kind of hiding in there if you can see it, and I think there's another one like more over here, kind of hiding back there. So that's exciting. I finally have Scotch bonnet, and now just kind of waiting, watching, because I think one or two of them should be chocolate, so I'm kind of waiting for it to change colors too and see what happens. And then we have the watermelon that's doing well, but definitely won't produce, definitely don't have enough time to produce an actual watermelon, but the vine stayed alive, so that's fun. And then the scallion up front here, another calendula, which is a flower that I planted right in there, and there is Swiss chard that's hidden under here. Some Swiss chard. And then if we go to bed 3, we have some basil that's doing really well right here up front. And then we have some beans. I don't have any beans on there yet, but hopefully. One bean's doing well, one not so much, because our old friend roly-polies are all over them. And then we have another bean here, and we have the mini bell peppers again, and there, and this one's done fantastic. I mean, there's also a branch down here with some peppers on it, peppers down here that I need to get. Before we go to that side, let's also look at this calendula that I planted. That one's a tick seed or coreopsis flower. This is a marigold. It's an African marigold. It's supposed to be really big. And then this is also the African marigold. And I'm loving this flower because it's kind of like a cross between the marigold leaves for sure, but the bloom itself to me looks more like a cosmos. So I love them. Looks really pretty. And then when we're on the side, we can also see that bell pepper there. And then we'll go around. And so the row peppers, you know, we have the mini bell pepper, and then we have jalapeno peppers in here, which have a few on them. And then the big bell pepper here, and like the one we saw on the other side. And then this is the mystery pepper. Now something attacked its leaves. I don't really know what got to it, but it still kept producing peppers. So I'm gonna definitely be picking all of these guys today. And then right in the front, we have our Swiss chard, which is looking fantastic. gonna pick some of that for breakfast today. Lots and lots of Swiss chard. And then we have the basil hidden down there. And this type of basil, I'm not actually sure what type it is, but this has been my favorite type for making like a basil lemonade. Really good. And then we also have some dandelion in the background there that I'll probably pick some today too. All right, let's go to bed 4. Oh, before we do, and this is a persimmon tree I also got at the plant sale that I'm thinking I'm gonna plant kind of in the middle of this wildflower area, kind of right where there's that spot right there in the center. It's probably where I'm gonna try and plant it. They're slow growers, so it's not gonna like shade the area too quickly, and I think it's gonna just be the best spot for it. So we're gonna put it in there. Wildflower area does have some color coming up, which is exciting. So I like to just kind of see what happens over here. And then we also have our pomegranate tree back there, which is doing well. No blooms or fruit, but the tree itself is alive, which is very important. Sun's just coming up, very early morning tour. All right, and then bed 4. So here again we have some shishito peppers, which I will be picking because they're all done, they're all red now. We have some Peruvian peppers in here also. You can see them there. We have the mini bell pepper back here. Got cherry peppers right in here. That's the little one right there, which is about done. Another eggplant. This one actually has the beginnings of a flower on there, but I doubt that we'll have enough time, so we'll try and overwinter this one too. And then we also have the dandelion just kind of sprinkled in between all the plants in this whole bed. And this is the dahlia. Didn't do well. I mean, it's still alive, but no blooms, no nothing. It tried, but it did no success. I think it also comes down to like this bed not having water, so I need to get water to it so it gets watered consistently. And then this one I thought was a Scotch bonnet will come around, but now looking at the peppers again, I think it's another one of the bubblegum ones, bubblegum peppers. We can see a regular bell pepper in the back there, and then the bird pepper, which also very exciting because it is just covered in peppers. So that is fantastic. And then wrap back around to another dahlia, but again, no blooms or anything like that. So yeah, the goal for next year is to get actual irrigation into these beds, and hopefully that will help maybe get some flowers, maybe, we'll see. And that is the October garden tour for 2022.